Wow. All right. I guess this thing's done. Let's see if we can turn on some volume. Yep. All right. So try new things. Tried a different streaming tool. This time I went direct through Zoom to YouTube instead of using the Rumble. Trying all kinds of things out. So here's the deal, folks. Make money with us. Simple. I wish I could make the message more simple. Make money with the Powersport Academy. Make money with the Powersport Academy. 3 weeks ago, I'm in class and I'm talking to a couple of dealer owners, and we had to submit some homework, and the homework was like process improvement stuff. And so we said, select something, anything out of this list of things, and figure out a root cause. Like, what's the problem? What's the root cause? And how are you going to fix it? This is not rocket science, folks. So I don't want to oversimplify this. Running a business is hard. Working for a business is hard. Taking time out of your day to focus on what's going to make success is very, very difficult. So, be all end all, they found something that was fairly simple. They made the change, and it increased their service productivity from 58% to 77% within a month. In terms of business, you need to think that through. You really need to think that through. You would say, oh, from 58 to 77, that's good. I wish it was 80, right? I wish it was 90. I wish it was. You can always say those things, but you got to remember when you're in business, when you're tracking key performance indicators, you have to benchmark where you were, benchmark, where you are, and benchmark where you want to go, right? So you want to create these things. Folks, they went from 58 to 77% in a month. On the second month, they got to 85%. Now, stick with the 77% because this is where some magic happens, okay? What is the difference between 58 and 77? A lot of you are going to say, well, 19%. 19%. That's great. Don't think in those terms. Where were you? You were at 58%. Now you're at 77. If you put that 19 on top of the 58 and you do the math that way, you had a 33% increase in departmental revenue. I want to stress this again. You had a 33% increase in departmental revenue. Now, I want you to fast forward with me to this week. I talked about this 3 weeks ago, so I don't want to rehash all the details here, but what I'm saying is someone comes into training, we dissect a couple of issues, we examine one of the issues very closely, and one of the issues that we examine nets $330,000 revenue growth if the store was doing $1 million in service sales. Remember, your service department sells parts and labor, not just labor. They sell parts and labor. So if they did $1 million in parts and labor sales last year, that means they'll be on track to do 1.3, right? If they did $2 million, and on and on and on. So this week I'm in training. I got another group of dealers. We're going through a similar kind of conversation. And I said, hey, I'm very fixed operations focused. I understand you guys might be sales focused because you're owners. It's very common for owners to be sales focused. Here is why I am so focused on service. This training still covers sales and F&I and all these other things, but here's why I focus on service. And I just gave him the short story about the 77%. And the guy goes, one of the owners, because it's a partnership, one of the owners goes, oh wow, we did $2.5 million in service last year. I said, well, so if you had a 33% increase, you would be looking at like $800,000 in extra revenue without capitalizing for headcount, burning your people up, buying new equipment, nothing. This was a simple change in the parts department that increased productivity. And they said, man, that's really interesting. Now, here's a shop that's doing $2.5 million a year in sales, $2.5 million a year in service sales. I want you to track why this is important, why working with a professional changes the outcome. If you're in it, if you're working in it every day, you don't see this kind of stuff. I said, wow, $2.5 million through your service department. How many technicians do you have? Well, typically we have five. Okay, great. So that means you're doing, this many per technician. Yes. Okay. So with five technicians, having that dispatch priority in place is really important. How do you guys dispatch your work? Come again? I said, if you have five technicians and you're doing $2.5 million in revenue as a department every year, having a dispatch program would be really important. Tell me a little bit about your dispatch program. Uh, Come again? So let me walk you through this, folks. I'm going to disclose to them what I call the service sales funnel. And I'm going to disclose to them over the next couple of weeks of training how to implement the service sales funnel and how to dispatch work appropriately through their service department so that when they put the work in the proper order, they're going to increase their productivity, efficiency, and profit. Folks, I don't think you cannot overstate what I am talking about here. So their $2.5 million is going to become $3.5 to $4 million next year. Now, I want to be really clear here. It's not magic money. It doesn't just show up. You still got to do the work. You still got to sell the hours that you create. So if it normally takes you 10 hours to do something, but now you can do it in 6 hours, you have 4 hours left over. You still have to sell the work to fill the 4 hours. Okay. What we're talking about is creating opportunity for income, not exactly the income itself. But if you're working for a shop and that shop says, oh, we have a 3 week backlog to get into the shop, that means they don't have to actively sell that work to fill that extra time, right? The work's already there. They got a 3 week backlog. So if you got a 3 week backlog, bring the stuff in. Let's get it done. Take that 3 week backlog down to a 4 or 5 day backlog. Now you got happier customers. If my boat's broken on a Tuesday and I can have it back by Saturday or Sunday, life is right. You hear what I'm saying? So now we're not just talking about making more money. Now we're talking about making customers happier. What do happy customers create? A happy service counter. What does a happy service counter create when the technicians are also making money? A happy service team, a positive internal culture. What does a positive internal culture create? It creates a store that everybody wants to work in instead of has to work in. Folks, I cannot, can't overestimate the power of this training. When we consistently meet with dealer owners and we consistently bring out the things that I don't want to say seem obvious because that's talking down to folks. It's not that. I get it. Running the business is hard. I've already said that. But when you look at a business from the outside in, it gives you a sense of clarity. So, from a consultative perspective, when I'm looking at the business from the outside in, and I've already worked at the dealer level, I've worked in the service departments, I have run service counters, I have run parts departments, I've worked in sales, I have worked at the OEM level, I have published books on the subject matter. So, when I, as a consultant, take that consultative perspective and look into your business from the outside looking in, I'm able to pluck things out of it and go, this is something we can work on right away. This is something we can work on right away, and it's going to add dollars to your bank account. Here's another thing we can work on right away, and it's going to take away some of those ill feelings between your sales department and your service department. Boom, here's something we can work on right away. It's going to help the service department to stop hating your parts department so much. When we take these kind of steps, we create an atmosphere that creates income, creates positive culture, creates the space that people want to be at. The customers want to be there, the technicians want to be there, the sales team's having a good time. When everybody's having a good time, what happens? The money flows like milk and honey. The money flows like milk and honey. Folks, I might be a little overexcited. And at the same time, I'm not excited enough. We're in the 6th year of the Powersport Academy. I don't think people understand what it's like to have the best training in the country for power sports dealers and to see people be reticent to take the training. To see people go, oh, our shop's already busy enough. Yes, yes. Dealer owners actually say that to me. They go, our shop's already busy enough. I don't know if we could sell more service work. They say that to me audibly comes out. Folks, after 6 years, I'm here to tell you, your service department's not too busy. Your customers are not too happy. Your revenue isn't too large. I, I'm at a loss when I talk to folks like this. This scarcity mindset needs to be eradicated, and we need to get back to an abundance mindset. And that abundance mindset is what an entrepreneur thrives on. If you own this business, you should be pushing, you should be clinging to what could be success for you. Now, that success could be more time off with the family. It could, maybe you want to go mountain biking like I do. Maybe maybe you want to expand and have a separate location. If you increased your revenue and your profit margins, wouldn't that help everything along the way? Now, I got to be honest with you. 3 weeks ago, we helped a dealer magically find $300,000. And I'm telling you right now, this week, we helped a dealer find $1 million+ basically just laying on the dealership floor. At the Powersport Academy, our top package right now is $45,000 for a year of training with your staff. If you question the intelligence of spending $45,000 on training against picking up $1 million in cash laying on your floor, there's something wrong with your math. Your math ain't mathin'. In fact, when I first launched the Powersport Academy, I used to sell the training much more affordably. It used to be a lot cheaper. Now we've increased some things. We've improved the platform. We've done a lot of stuff to it, and so it has improved over the years. But when we first launched the program, we were giving it away. We were just giving it away, right? I thought, well, there's going to be 200 dealers who want this training, so I can give it away. And 200 dealers didn't sign up. Didn't sign up at all. And the feedback I got after I let some dealers sample the work was, well, it doesn't hurt enough. It's the pain to write that check isn't high enough because the pain that your course is fixing is immense, right? So it's got to cost more. And that was the advice from the dealers. And so we made the training cost more. And then, like I said, we added some features, we added some sessions, we did some things. We have, you can start for free. I don't know how to make that easier. You can start for free. Our first course in our 6-course menu is free, so you can take the first course for free. There's a thing that you can do. It's a repair order script. So we teach service writers how to change their selling script and generate $47,000 in sales in the coming year from changing their script. You can do that for as little as $27. All right. So we've got affordable training. We've got free. We've got $27. We've got $699 if you want to study on your own and not do the live coaching sessions. If you want to come to the live coaching sessions, you're going to pay for the live coaching sessions. That's just all there is to it. But here is my, again, coming back to this, is the training just too dang cheap? Even at $45,000, do you look at that and go, I don't really believe I could make $1 million extra this year because he's only charging me 45 grand to find out how? I mean, if that's what you're thinking, we need to have a phone call, because I don't know how I could justifiably raise the price more, just to be honest with you. Sometimes I think maybe if it was 75 grand, maybe if it was $119,000, like what is the magic number that's going to make dealers get off their duff, swipe a credit card and train their people? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to take to get dealers to want to train their own staff. They keep assuming that the OEMs are going to do it. Newsflash, the OEMs are not going to do it. The OEMs are not going to train your people. I was part of the BRP service program that came out in 2021, I think that was. I was out visiting dealers for BRP. Great program, great content. It was OEM focused. Don't get me wrong. It was OEM focused. The training we give at the Powersport Academy is dealer focused, right? So it comes from the dealer perspective. The training that I gave when I was the employee over at Ducati North America, I don't think they do any of that stuff anymore, right? When I built the training for Suzuki, Suzuki flat out told me from the top of the executive ladder, I built all the training. It was ready to go. We were going to launch this really awesome service training program. And they pulled me in office and they said, most of our dealers also do Honda and Yamaha and Kawasaki and all these other brands. I said, yes, so Like, I'm totally vacant on this whole concept. They said, well, if we help dealers do better with Suzuki, they're going to do better with Kawasaki and Honda too. We don't want to help them increase their sales. We want to focus on Suzuki only. And so we never released the service training program. I wrote it. It was awesome. It was an awesome program. Never released. Never released. Never acted upon. I spent more than a year putting it together. Never did anything with it. So now that leaves you with the Powersport Academy. I'm the one person that's had kind of the stones to put this thing down, to put it into a curriculum, and to be able to deliver this curriculum over and over and over again to dealerships and help them find cash just laying on the floor. And it's more than the cash. Like I said, it's positive internal culture, happy customers, happy technicians, better relationships between parts, sales, and service. And folks, I'm rambling. I'm just going around in circles, so I'm going to let you go. Folks, have yourself an absolutely wonderful day. And I look really forward to seeing you in the Powersport Academy. Go to powersportacademy.com, get all your information there. If you want to schedule a call with me, click the button, schedule a call. Let's have it out. Uh, Open book. Ask any questions you want. If you're open for the training, let's get you hooked up. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.